Good morning, everybody. Oh my gosh, it is Tuesday. We had a national holiday yesterday. It was wonderful. Um, I really enjoyed it. Me and my wife had a wonderful time. And now it's time to get back into the swing of things, just for a couple days. Then I have some time off, so that's going to be cool. I'm waiting for the system to build. I think I want to start at data entities endpoint. I was thinking today how I probably, if I had to criticize myself, like something I really need to work on, it's going to be like I truly value experience. To me, experience is the most important thing, but it's not. It's clearly not the most important thing. Um, it is tied for the most important thing. Knowledge is just as important. Like knowledge and understanding is every bit as important as experience. But I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do. So, like if you're trying to communicate something, then knowledge is by far more important than experience. That's why a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge end up getting promoted because they are able to explain things to the decision makers of whatever organization what's happening. Because when you're knowledgeable, it's easier to explain things. But when you're experienced, it's easier to get things done. So I've always been like, hey, I want to be able to get things done. And that's really worked out for me because while it doesn't usually work out for me very well in a specific work environment, becoming very experienced and very capable of doing things has made it where I could find new jobs whenever I lose a job for whatever reason. Um, I can still find new jobs. And so that is that. But I do think that my weakness of not really understanding things uh, gets exposed by Angular material tables because Angular material table they have a very specific way of doing things, and I never learned that way, and I had learned another way in the past, and so my natural point at this point, now that I know that I want that I this is the list of things I want, the next natural step for me through years of conditioning and experience is to do a for loop and start looping over it. But Angular material doesn't work that way. And that is actually, it has the feeling of like an anti-pattern. So anyways, so here is the TypeScript. So what do we want? We probably want, in my experience with Angular material, which is much less than my experience with other things, it seems like the very first step would be to create an interface that describes exactly the records that you want to display. So we had talked about it and what I want a record to have. So I know I want it to be an interface, and at this point, I don't want to export it. So I'm just going to say interface. I think when you have export in front of there, that is a sort of a signal that, hey, this might be being used outside of there. If you don't have export, then you, is it like that? No. Um, then if you don't have export, then you're sort of saying, hey, this is only used here. So it's kind of like having like private or something. Okay, so it is lowercase. Okay, so interface. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Something seems off. I'm just going to copy this whole thing over. I don't know if I misspelled it. I don't know what the deal is. And I know I've done this before where I'll define the interface. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. I guess because it was red, it was bothering me. Okay, so we know with our interface we want the um, type, I guess. Over there it's called a key type, and that's a string. So that's going to be cameras, geometry. Should it be cameras or camera? I think it should be camera. Like everything else I'm doing singular. So let's go ahead and take care of that. 3 native categories. So we know we're going to have a type, and the type will be camera. Will be basically the key to our um, dictionary or to our constant up here. So I guess I should call it key. Let's call it key. I don't, it really is a type, but it's like an ST type or something like that. But so there's the key, and then we want the um, do we want? I don't think we need the label, but we do want the count, which is a number, and then we want JSON, which is a string. And this is our entity table record. So what I'm envisioning is like here, but up here at the top it says uh, type count JSON is what we want. So we'll know how many there is, and then you can look in there. All right. So that is good. Let's see, what's the time? 8:55. Okay. So basically now I have this. So I think last time what we did was we had a function, and I can't remember what it was called. And the name of that function, if I remember correctly, is sitting inside of this services. What did we call that? Table transform. So we know, and this is weird, right? Normally I like to start like digging in and like um, creating my tables, but this time I'm starting from more of a data, like a data side. And like I said, I think Angular Material really um, lends itself to that. Okay, so this thing is not going to take a sequence dictionary. It's going to take, I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to return an entity table. Does it return all of them, right? So it's going to get it's going to get like, okay, so I guess it is going to take a dictionary, and we did define it somewhere, the dictionaries that it might take. And I cannot remember how we did that. Okay, for now, I'm just going to copy. I'm going to I'm going to comment this out just so we have it as a reference. And then I remember we had like where we had defined all the three table dictionaries. That's these, right? No, this? Okay, so here we have like, okay, and then we ended up backing out. Okay, so that is what I remembered. That was what you would call an artifact. I guess we should figure out those. So this comes from base dictionaries. Okay, so it is a three dictionary. So let's go to base dictionaries. And this, like I said, I don't really think in this way very often. So I'm struggling a little bit right now. Sitting here, dictionaries, base dictionaries. So basically we have these ThreeJS dictionaries, right? So I think we could say, so that's an ST scene. Boy, I'm glad I added this stuff, that ST to the front of things. Okay, so export type. I don't know if this is the best way to do this. Three dictionary types. And this is equal to top one is our three camera. This is our camera dictionary. So that ties up with this one. So it could be a camera dictionary. Or it could be a geometry dictionary. And again, this is very new to me. I don't know. I've never really done this, what I'm doing right now before. So I'm still like experimenting and trying things out. And that is the whole friggin' point to doing your own little side projects is so this is where you experiment. This is where you try stuff out. This is where you um, like have ideas and then express your new ideas and give a make a run at it and try it out and hope that it's a good idea. And if it turns out to be a good idea, then you have words so that you can defend your good idea. But if you try it out at home and it doesn't work out, then you don't. And I mean, it's like so that's probably my favorite reason for enjoying playing fantasy football because when I play fantasy football, I have ways of winning. I mean, I get ideas. And then sometimes those ideas are really good. And then sometimes those ideas don't work at all. And you got to get used to that. Like you're going to have ideas that make absolute sense. And then they're not get any good. They're just not any good. All right. So now we have a three dictionary type. And this kind of thing, like what I'm doing, probably may look very like crazy, like difficult. Like, how does he just know how to do this? And it's just like, well, practice. That's how I know how to do it, just from practice. All right, so this thing is named table transform, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to return an empty array. This is just so I can get rolling. Just get her rolling. Rolling, getting a little momentum is the most important thing, I think. Okay, so now it's our three dictionary, and this could be any of those types. So we're saying, hey, it can accept any one of those types and only one of those types. And then it's going to return a three table record, which I do not. No, it's not a three. It's an. Okay, so that should be three table record. This is what we're returning. Wow, that's kind of cool how that worked out. All right, so that's good for today. It is Tuesday, so the crazy dogs will be here in a minute. They'll be having fun running around playing with my dogs. And in the meantime, I'm going to get to work. Happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.